Pandemics and Progress, A History of Disease and Recovery by Dr. Anika Patel, prepared by Hamid Al-Kayari. Introduction, Disease as a Catalyst for Change. Dr. Anika Patel traces humanity's fraught relationship with infectious diseases, arguing that pandemics have repeatedly reshaped societies, economies, and scientific innovation. From the Black Death to COVID-19, she reveals how crises expose vulnerabilities, spur medical breakthroughs, and redefine notions of public health and equity. Chapter 1, Ancient Plagues and Early Medicine, 3000 BCE 500 CE, Early Epidemics, Plague of Athens, 430 BCE. Typhoid fever during the Peloponnesian War killed 25% of the population, weakening Athenian dominance. Antonine Plague, 165 to 180 CE. Likely smallpox brought by Roman troops from Mesopotamia killed 5 million, destabilizing the empire. Medical foundations, Hippocratic Corpus, 4th century BCE, emphasized natural causes over divine wrath. Ayurvedic texts like Sushruta Samhita, 600 BCE, detailed surgery and hygiene. Societal impact, quarantine practices in Levantine ports, Roman cloaca maxima, sewers, reduced urban disease spread. Chapter 2, The Black Death and its Aftermath, 1347 to 1352, Spread and Mortality. Yersinia pestis from Central Asia via Silk Road trade killed 30 to 50% of Europe's population. Economic upheaval, labor shortages ended feudalism, raised wages, and fueled peasant revolts, e.g., England's 1381 Peasants' Revolt. Public health innovations, Venice's 40-day quarantine, quarantina, establishment of lazarettos, isolation hospitals. Chapter 3, Colonialism and Global Disease, 1492 to 1900, Columbian Exchange, smallpox, measles, and influenza decimated 90% of indigenous Americas. The Aztec Empire fell to court s. 1521, aided by a smallpox epidemic. Enslavement and epidemics, yellow fever in Caribbean sugar plantations killed enslaved Africans and Europeans, shaping racialized labor hierarchies. Scientific advances, Edward Jenner's smallpox vaccine, 1796, John Snow's cholera mapping, 1854, Broad Street Pump, founded epidemiology. Chapter 4, The 1918 Influenza and Modern Public Health, 1918 to 1920, Spanish flu, H1N1 virus infected 500 million, killing 50 million. Wartime censorship and troop movements accelerated spread. Societal responses, mask mandates and social distancing in cities like San Francisco, stigmatization of marginalized communities. Legacy, creation of the League of Nations Health Organization, 1923, precursor to the WHO. Chapter 5, The Antibiotic Era and New Threats, 1928 to 2000, Penicillin Revolution, Alexander Fleming's discovery, 1928, and mass production during World War II saved millions but led to antibiotic overuse. HIV/AIDS pandemic, 1981. Present initial neglect of the crisis stigmatized LGBTQ and communities, ACT UP protests, 1987, accelerated drug trials. Emerging diseases, Ebola, 1976, SARS, 2003, and H1N1, 2009, highlighted globalization's role in zoonotic spillover. Chapter 6, COVID-19 and the Future of Pandemics, 2019 Present, Global Spread, SARS-CoV-2's rapid transmission overwhelmed healthcare systems, disparities in vaccine access, e.g., Africa's 5% vaccination rate in 2021 versus 70% in wealthy nations. Technological leaps, mRNA vaccines, Pfizer, Moderna, developed in record time, AI-driven drug discovery. Social fractures, anti-mask protests, infodemics, and debates over lockdowns versus economic survival. Key themes. 1. Inequity as a pandemic driver, marginalized groups, indigenous, Poor, racial minorities, consistently bear the brunt of disease and neglect. 2. Innovation under pressure, crises spur medical leaps, vaccines, sanitation, and systemic reforms, public health infrastructure. 3. Ethics of response, balancing individual freedoms with collective safety, patent waivers versus pharmaceutical profits. Conclusion, pathogens as agents of progress. Patel argues that pandemics force societies to confront systemic failures and reimagine resilience. While COVID-19 exposed global inequities, it also demonstrated unprecedented scientific collaboration. She warns against complacency, urging investment in pandemic preparedness, universal healthcare, and climate action to mitigate future zoonotic threats. Notable figures: Louis Pasteur, 1822–1895, germ theory pioneer, developed rabies vaccine. Kizzmekia Corbett, B. 1986, key scientist in Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine development. Larry Kramer, 1935–2020, AIDS activist and founder of ACT UP. Legacy, from smallpox eradication, 1980, to COVAX's vaccine sharing initiative, pandemics have reshaped global governance. However, recurring cycles of panic and neglect persist. Author's perspective: Patel, an epidemiologist and historian, blends data with human stories, emphasizing that recovery hinges on equity and solidarity. The book is a call to view public health not as a cost but as a cornerstone of societal stability. Lessons for the future: decentralized vaccine production in the global south. Integrating indigenous knowledge, e.g., herbal medicine, with modern science. Addressing climate change to reduce zoonotic risks. Final quote: pandemics end not when the pathogen disappears, but when we choose to heal the fractures they reveal.